Okay, good morning, everyone. Justin Fu, I'm a senior biomedical engineer.
And my name is Abdelghani Abada, also senior BMA.
Yeah, so today we're just going to talk a little bit about Project Tadpole and what we do on campus, and why we're asking for funding today. Yeah, so the problem that Project Tadpole is trying to address is that there are children with disabilities, specifically mental and physical handicaps, that basically prevent them from playing with common toys that you find like Walmart and Toys R Us. A lot of these toys are electronic toys. They have small buttons and small switches that make them difficult to play with, specifically if a child has diseases and disabilities such as like cerebral palsy. Furthermore, these specialty toys that some companies make are particularly expensive. They can range from over $100 to even over $500. So you can imagine buying a single toy for this amount of money just isn't cost efficient for these families, and it can become prohibitive for these kids to enjoy their toys. And then furthermore, we believe, and we have also seen studies, that playing with toys promotes development. So as these kids grow, they can outgrow these toys that some families invest in, and then it's no longer an option for them to keep buying more and more expensive toys as these kids grow up. So our mission as a student organization here at Duke is to provide resources and toys and devices for these families and children. So specifically, we do 3 major tasks. We repair broken specialty toys that these families already currently possess. We also modify normal toys that you can buy from Toys R Us or Walmart and adapt them so that they can use them with a simple switch. And then we also try to identify needs in the community and actually design devices for them. So this third bullet point is something new that we're trying to implement this year. In the past, we only did the first 2, but we're really trying to have a more design-oriented group this year. And then on the flip side, for the members of our organization, we also provide a hands-on engineering experience, a chance to provide service to the community, which we find is pretty unique in the Pratt range of student organizations.
So our members, so we have a good balance of mostly BMEs, but we also have some electrical engineers and mechanical engineers. I believe that one of our friends here, Anna and I, was actually with the people who started this organization a couple of years ago, and so we're fairly new. The problem with last year, we had that most of the people in the group last year were seniors. They started the group, and there was a good 8 of them that went along and graduated. So at the end of last year, there was about 4 or 5 consistent members that were not seniors, and this was a huge problem we confronted. So at the beginning of the year, we set out to make sure we recruited a lot of people, and now we have a good 15 to 20 people that come to every one of our meetings. We actually are still getting new members on a weekly basis, getting a lot of emails. And what's really important about this is that it's like a good time and place for underclassmen to get some time in the lab, especially since you spend a lot of time with this piece of equipment, and if you're learning about the equipment way before you head to lab, you have a leg up to a lot of your peers. So we meet on Mondays, and now since we're trying to do more of like a project and with assistive technology, like specific projects for individuals, we're also having meetings on Sunday. So we meet about twice a week for 2 hours each. And so this is where we have a bulk of our time that we commit. Along with weekly meetings, we also have trips to Tadpole headquarters. So Generations Tadpole is a lending library for toys. I believe it's Butner, North Carolina, not too far from here. And this used to provide us a good resource for broken toys that we can fix and return, because what their job is, just like a regular library, is they lend out toys that have been modified already or are specialty toys for children with disabilities to families who can't really afford them, and then after the child kind of outgrows them, return them back to the lending library. Unfortunately, they shut down last year, so we've been making a move towards more projects. This is all coming from our Big Button idea. So one of the fathers during activities fair, something that Justin will talk about later, came up to us with an issue His daughter was not able to talk and communicate to us, so what he used were buttons that he pre-recorded certain phrases with. For example, he had one for the restroom, one for the bathroom, one to go outside. And these devices, pretty large, need to be very durable because children are usually hitting them very hard, and they're supposed to last for many years. And if you try to go online and finding them, they're usually like $200. There's really cheap ones, but those are not durable. Those do not really fit all the specifications we need. So this has really given us a push to try to reach out to families and figure out projects. In the past, we've helped Ava. She has a lot of leg development problems, so she cannot use. Her parents bought her this car for Christmas, but she wasn't able to use them because she wasn't able to control her legs that much. And so we developed some switches to fix it so she can use only her hand and the button in the front to drive. There's also a kill switch in the back where parents from a far distance away can just pull it out and it'll completely stop. So we had one of our toy fairs last week and we were able to see her, and great news, she actually is now like increasing her leg development like tremendously, like a lot more than the doctors expected. So now she's able to like actually use the foot pedals, but she's always been able to use this toy, and it's one of her favorite toys.
Yeah, so a little bit more about the assistive technology fair that we just hosted this past week. So it was hosted locally in Durham. So the things that we provide during this toy fair, we prepare a bunch of toys that we've modified leading up to the toy fair, and we try to find families that are in need of the toys, and we hand them out. In addition to that, we have these battery interrupters, which allow parents to adapt and modify their own toys that they already have. So in addition to that, we like to try to teach parents how to identify toys that are adaptable. So not all toys that you can buy on the market, you can use these battery interrupter switches. There's only certain on-off switch functionality that lends itself well to the battery interrupters. And we also try to show them how to actually implement them. And then furthermore, something that we hadn't foreseen was going to these toy fairs also allowed us to network with other like-minded groups who are also trying to service the same population as us. And we've actually made a lot of contacts in groups that service families with children with disabilities, and we look forward to expanding on those contacts. Yeah, so now for the goals of this year. Obviously, we want to continue our weekly toy repairs. That's the heart and soul of Project Tadpole. Our weekly meetings allow all of our members to congregate and learn about how to fix toys, how to make repairs. And then we also want to continue the Assistive Technology Fair that's hosted in the fall in Durham. And then we also are pushing the design project. So like Abdul talked about, the Big Button project, that group meets every Sunday. So we're having 2 meetings every week for our group this year instead of 1 in the past. And then lastly, our Spring Duke Toy Fair. This is something that we've never done before. This is something that we want to push. And what we've seen is that we want to really focus on the education component that we've seen during the fall assistive toy fair. So really bring families in, show them how to use a soldering iron, show them how they can make their own battery interrupters, so that we feel that like educating these families is more of a sustainable solution than just handing out toys and handing out battery interrupters. So if we feel like we can make this kind of successful effort as an education toy fair, we feel like we can be a successful group this year.
So our timeline, we've recently had our assistive toy fair. This is something we plan in the future to have every fall, even though me and Justin are graduating. So as Justin just alluded to earlier, the Spring Duke Toy Fair is going to be our big event for next semester, something that we've never done before. We also hold weekly meetings and weekly design meetings. So these are things that we can use to assess how well we're doing. We having a report for how many people attended the last activities fair. We also plan on doing a lot of testing on our Big Button to see if it's cost-effective analysis, how much the big deal with our project is that we're trying to make a cheaper device, and so we're going to have to do a lot of research on that. This is stuff that we can make very accessible to the Duke community. Also, we need another event for the Duke Toy Fair that we're going to have in the fall.
Yeah, so this is our projected budget for this year. So we try to split it up into the 3 major components of our group. The first component is the Adaptive Tech Fair, which is hosted in the fall. And you can see that we've listed toys, batteries, and then the switch modification parts. And then we also have the Duke Toy Fair. During this toy fair, we're going to be purchasing soldering irons and solder, and then also the toys that the families can adapt on their own during the fair. And then the last section is just what we plan to encounter on our week-to-week running of the organization. So you see parts for the design project they meet every week, replacement parts for the toys that we have to repair, and then also tools. Pizza's always good, and then poster really helped us get our new members, so we want to update that poster every year. And yeah, so this is our total projected cost for the next upcoming year. And then we were lucky enough to have already applied to ESG funding, and they were able to meet $1,500 of our requested amount, so this is our actual projected or requested amount. And if you guys have any questions about the budget, I know I kind of flew through that, but please ask us right after this. And here's our contact information if you guys have any other questions, or if you have any other families that you might know might benefit from being in contact with our group. We'd really appreciate just getting our name out there. That's it.
How many toys do you repair a semester, just ballpark range, and how many children do you actually serve?
Yeah, so I guess that number is kind of hard to quantify when we reach out to the community through these toy fairs, and then we also repair toys. But I would estimate for the toy fairs, we modify 20 to 25 toys per toy fair. So that's roughly 50 toys per year since we have 2 toy fairs. And then on top of that, on the weekly repairs, that's just that was based on our service to Tadpole, the lending library that recently shut down. But we would repair roughly, they would bring in batches of around 30 toys every semester. So on top of that, you know, if you add those numbers up, we have around 110 toys for a whole academic year. I guess you can say 110 kids too.
So since the Butner Library closed, what's the source of the broken toys that you're repairing now? Are you just reaching out to families individually?
Yeah, and that was the challenge that we faced during this first part of the semester. But what we found was going to this toy fair last week, we actually, some parents just came up to us and said, oh, I have these 3 broken toys. One parent actually brought their toy, and we fixed it on the spot. But I think what we really plan to use is some groups have listservs, or they already have established databases of families, and then we can reach out to them, and that's what we're really trying to do.
We even had like families visit us during meetings and talk to us about their needs and what kind of toys they need help with. So it's been, most of us now, we can't really just rely on the lending library, but it's not slowed us down at all. It's actually like made us more like inclusive to other undergrads, and it's kind of everyone getting involved because now we have like more things to do at once. So instead of like in the past, it's kind of like the seniors were doing most of like the difficult work and everyone else is kind of watching, but now since we have to do so much more work, it kind of like makes it more fun for everyone.
Right. Thanks very much.
Okay, yeah. Thank you guys.